an upper body workout. We're doing wide bench into dumbbell flies, some optional tricep work, love to see that, and T-bar rows. Glorious! Righty ho! Let's get it going! Why waste time? Time is wasted, and we don't like wasted time. That's why we do warm-ups that are topical and specific to the exercise. Right. I lose my mind whenever I see people warming up for upper chest work and they're doing like a 5.5 mile jog. I'm just like, what? How does that help? Yay! I'm more tired. I think most of the time it doesn't not help in an acute sense, but if you're looking at training holistically, as well you should be, then the additional time is essentially wasted. Because in that particular example, you're not really decreasing intravenous risk. But you are decreasing your energy and power output. Oh, hello, Tech Commander. Hello. Words. Lake and Kirby. Hi. What are the 8 types of connective tissue? My word, 8 types of connective tissue. Adipose, lymphoid, epithelial, yellow elastic, white fibrous. 8 types of connective tissue. Yeah, yellow elastic, white fibrous, blood, bone, and cartilage are all technically connective tissue. What have I missed? I know I've missed one. Let's see. I didn't miss one. Oh, annula! I missed the easiest one. Huzzah! Alright, warm up, champ. Let's check our safeties as well. Oh, I'm feeling that ab work from yesterday. Gonna move that easy curl bar. Oh, the safeties look good. Cool! Come here, easy curl bar. Let us take care of you. Where can you go? You can go over here for the time being. Splendid! How are you, old chap? You got anything exciting coming up today? What are centrosomes? Dense areas of cytoplasm containing centrioles. Yay! Langerhans cells, like white blood cells and platelets, originate in the bone marrow. Right, warming up with 50. And then, I think I'll do my working sets with 70. It sounds good. I'll have a big focus on form. As I sound like a broken record, but you never know when the information's useful. I am cutting weight. And what that means is that I, being an experienced lifter, am not growing a large or significant amount of lean muscle, new skeletal muscle tissue, when I am in a caloric deficit. I would need to be in at least a moderate surplus to be gaining moderate amounts of muscle. So, if I'm not standing to gain a lot of muscle, and the amount of work or volume needed to achieve maintenance of skeletal muscle is much lower than the required volume or effort to build skeletal muscle, then the only thing that I'm doing by trying to keep increasing weight is increasing injury risk and not actually building more muscle or doing myself any favours. Which is why I lower the training volume and lower the weights and intensity during a deficit period. So there. Education. Yeah. Right. Let's go. Cool. Oh yeah. Are any of you lovely lads planning to turn your mind to exercise? Remember, it doesn't have to look like this. If this isn't a modality that you enjoy, you can get fit doing a wide variety of things. It doesn't have to be weight training, it can be bodyweight work at home, it can be running, it can be jogging, it can be walking. Walking can keep you fit. Walking's a goddamn superpower. It's about the most functional exercise that we have. And then, do you know what we do if we want to work harder while we're walking? Get a weighted vest and go for a walk. Or do some farmer's carries with a bit of weight. Not like that, but you get the idea. Hey. Hello, an eagle. Not when I have profiterole. What? I don't know what that is, fine fellow. What is the function of the dermis? So the dermis primarily handles sweating, sensation, blood circulation. It provides, because the epidermis, being a epithelial tissue, is avascular. So the dermis provides nutrients to the epidermis. Mini donuts full of cream. Well, this is the great thing about fitness, particularly skeletal muscle. Right? I'm not saying become a jacked behemoth, but muscle is a much more anabolically active tissue than adipose tissue, which, let's be honest, we all generally have a bit too much of. So what that means is that if you take your BMR, so your base metabolic rate, how many calories, how much energy, which is found in the bonds between food molecules, how much of that energy is needed to sustain your heartbeat, your respiration, your circulation, right? All of your body's functions, that's your base BMR. And that is assuming you are not moving, you're sedentary, you're lying down for the entire day. if you have more muscle, that BMR is higher. And that increases exponentially as you get activities that burn more calories anyway. So you will burn more calories walking, you will burn more calories running, you will burn more calories lifting things, you will burn more calories absent-mindedly walking back and forth. You will burn more calories by talking, which is good for me because I never shut up. But following on from that point, if you have a higher BMR, you can eat more and maintain the same weight. Let's be clear, you still shouldn't eat like shit, but you can eat more and maintain weight. And in some cases, like me, you can eat more and lose weight. Because you used to be 140 pounds, and now you're like 170, and you have so much more muscle that you need to like eat 3,000 calories a day to actually go up in weight. So if you just eat comfortably, like I am currently, you slowly lose weight. Ain't that cool? Like, I would never recommend weight training for an acute objective of weight loss. You know, because it's all about diet. You can't out-train a bad diet. Fascinating video of a guy eating 10,000 calories and then trying to burn them off. Really good. You can find it on YouTube fairly easily. But it's a really good example of how much harder it is to burn calories than it is to eat them. So, diet modification, best way to deal with weight loss in the acute term. When you're thinking chronically, as we all should be, it becomes more about gaining a bit more muscle, upping your BMR, habit modification, right? Changing what got you to that undesirable state over time. Because the thing about weight is that it doesn't happen overnight. We don't wake up and suddenly go, I'm 160 pounds. That does not happen. Some people say it does. It doesn't. You might get a change of mindset that makes you realize, but it doesn't happen overnight. Weight does not fluctuate that swiftly. So if the habits that built you to that point come very slowly, right, and the weight builds very slowly, that's exactly how you want to go about tackling them. Right? Is slow habit modification. Finding yourself a sustainable way of living. And chronically, weight training on the regular is a fantastic way to do that. Plus, it makes you look sexy. And we all like to look sexy. Anyway, I have waffled for so long that I actually need to go and defecate, so I'm going to do a interim set of incline push-ups just to keep my chest warm. And then we are going to go and relieve ourselves. Right, I'll be back. Don't worship anything while I'm gone. victory is mine. Hello, chap. Stop worshipping the workbench! Tell you what I'm gonna do. You wanna worship it? I'm gonna lie on it, shirtless. It's gonna taste my sweaty back. Yeah. Okay, where are the blazers? I am chalkless. Okay, here we go. Seems like I've only got. Help me, chat. Okay, here we are. That'll do. I'll manage. Right, here we go, chat. What do you think I'm gonna get? Oh, my music has stopped. This is not good at all. Alright, give me something. Thank you. Bohemian Rhapsody? Not exactly a workout song. Ooh, let me score Dragon Ball Z music. Okay. Whew. Yeah. Well, I guess this is it for me, chap. It's been a pleasure. We did it, chat. I wasn't even counting. Was that 11? I think that was 11. We are losing strength and endurance. We did, 80 for 9, and now we're doing 70 for 11. In fairness, cadence was a little slower, but certainly a decline. That was 8? Are you telling Porky Pies, Kirby? Or have I just miscounted that severely? That's an impacted fracture. Well, lacunae, what do they contain? Lacunae are small spaces inside the lamellae that house osteocytes. Nice. Okay. Chat, now we've got to get the blessed, amazing workbench. Weight back onto ye pins. And what do you do when you're trying to lift a weight? People say lift with your knees, not with your back. That's not really a helpful cue because it doesn't mean anything. Basically, you want to make sure that you're not rounding your spine at any point. We have natural curvatures in our spine. We have lumbar lordosis in these thick lumbar vertebrae of our vertebral canal. And we have kyphosis, so anterior curvature in the thoracic region. And these work together to form this kind of shape of the spine, right? And it supports the structures when we're standing, when we're like this, right? So we don't want to change that posture when we're lifting something. If you go like this, right, you are compromising your spinal stability. It's like this, and you hinge at the hips, right? Maintaining that straight back posture throughout. And that's what we're going to do here. Yay! Gorgeous! So yeah, don't have to be lifting weights to use that one. Jam to this, I dare you. Oh no, a Spotify playlist? What's this gonna do to me? It's not opening. I'm clicking it, it is refusing to open. What is the smallest skeletal muscle? The stapedius muscle in the inner ear. What is the function of deep fascia? So deep fascia is a dense, stiff, inelastic membrane which forms surfaces for muscle attachment, protection. It's thicker in unprotected areas of the body. It assists the actions of muscles via tension and pressure. Nice. What is an isotonic contraction? Isometric. So an isotonic contraction would be one where the length of the muscle is changing. I'll send it over Discord. Go for it. Yeah. What is the appearance of skeletal muscle? So skeletal muscle is striated due to protein filaments of myosin and actin. It's multinucleated, so it has multiple nuclei per muscle fiber. These muscle fibers are also enclosed in a sheath or sarcolemma. Anything else? No. Oh, cylindrical muscle fibers, yeah. What is the strongest muscle? The gluteus maximus. What is lateral epicondylitis? Inflammation of the lateral epicondyle of the humerus, also known as tennis elbow. Cool. Alright, chat. We're going in again. Victory will be achieved. Okay. So, now chat, we are on to flies. We're gonna fly majestically through the air. Whew. We're hoping to do it with 19 kilos. Again, when you're lifting weight, keep a neutral spine. Lovely. Okay. We do a warm-up here because slightly different modality, so we'll take a 15 kilo dumbbell, methinks. Lovely. Yay. I'm curious, chat, if anyone out there would like to share, when you look at sort of what I'm doing with regards to fitness and stuff, or when you look at anyone that you look at and think, oh, they look really fit, or they look really healthy, what is it that makes you not want to do that, or makes you hesitant to do that? Is it a lack of knowledge? Is it a, oh, I just don't think I'd enjoy it, or I know I don't enjoy it when I did it before, yada yada? Where are you at? Because that'd be very useful information for me to have doing what I do. What is anemia? So anemia is a reduction in the body's ability to carry oxygen, or the blood's ability to carry oxygen, either due to a reduction in red blood cells or the hemoglobin that they carry. It's motivation for me. Well, I need my friend, and this is anecdotal, but I do believe it carries a lot of weight. Motivation comes second. I wish it didn't. I really wish that you could just sort of wait around and one day you'd be like, yeah, now I want to do that. It doesn't happen. You get motivated after you do the thing. It's like me overcoming my autistic phobias. I didn't want to start walking the dog. It terrified me. It was one of my triggers. It was something as simple as walking the dog. I didn't want to go to theatre. It terrified me. I started wanting to do these things after I started doing them. And that motivation, particularly with fitness, comes after you begin, after you start doing it. And it's particularly true with fitness because once you start doing it, you start feeling these benefits of better hormonal regulation, better sleep. You get fitter, you just feel better in yourself, and that encourages you to keep going. And then if you keep doing well and you keep at it for a while, you actually notice visually the difference as well. And at that point, it's just, how can you stop, you know? So I would encourage you, just do it. There is no better time to start investing in your physical health than right now. And whether that's, via what I do or anything else, right? You can get started in fitness as I did, just by watching, right? There's a huge amount of fitness media out there that you can consume, and you can start at home. I did. I just started with bodyweight workouts and just throwing myself about, burpees, push-ups, sit-ups, shoulder work with objects, lateral raises with milk jugs. Fitness is accessible to everyone. And it's part of my sort of mission statement as a PT to sort of remove that barrier between people and their fitness, because I just think everyone deserves what's on the other side of fitness, on the other side of taking that step to achieve what their vision of fitness is. Okay, let's do what we can do. Oh. Righty-ho. I'd be curious to know, chat, has anyone else had that experience of having to do or making yourself do something that you don't want to do, and then finding out that you want to do it after a while? Like, that surely can't be exclusive to me. Because I don't think it's an autistic trait, I just think it's a fact of life. Right? We are so content to sort of leave things the way they are just because, we don't like change. Change is scary. It's but I'm confident I'm not alone in having that experience of putting yourself out there, trying something new, or forcing yourself to do something that factually is good for you, but everything in your body just makes you not want to do it. That's the weirdest thing, because I don't know where my motivation came from in terms of fitness. I think it was a combination of me thinking that I was unattractive. I mean, I had body dysmorphia issues out of wazoo, right? So, fitness was an outlet for me in that sense. But as I say, like, I didn't want to do it. I just did it anyway. And then the motivation struck me. After I'd spent many days coming down past my mum and my dad, drenched in sweat, and waltzing out and having to sit on the back step for, sort of 5-10 minutes just recovering, because I had just forced myself to work that hard. And to be clear, it's a weird thing in the fitness industry. Lay people glorify bad training modalities. Like factually, you have things like Diamond Gym where people are doing like 50 to 100 rep sets, and you're not allowed to drink, or else you have to do hill sprints and things like this. These are factually, scientifically terrible ways to train. I don't care whether they train your mindset, they make you harder mentally or whatever. I do not care. Factually, they are bad for your body in the same way that running a marathon is bad for your body. And yet lay people look at someone drenched in sweat, or they look at someone who's, doing 150 rep sets, and they say, oh wow, that he must be gaining so much muscle and doing so. No, That's a complete caricature of fitness. Right? That is not what effective training looks like. The majority of effective training, the majority of the time when you're training effectively, it looks like this. Hello. You know what this does? This. Like you don't have to be sweaty. You don't have to break a sweat in the gym. You can work hard by all means. But it doesn't have to be an unpleasant experience by any means. Like for me, gym is cathartic. It's freeing. I get to put a lot of energy and effort into something, but it's not an unpleasant experience. It's tough. Like I work hard by all means, but it's not unpleasant. And now we rest. Okay. I was not even counting the reps there, silly old me. Okay. So, what are we doing next? Ooh, dumbbell shoulder press. That sounds like fun. And then lateral raises. Yay! Okay. Let's do our shoulder press, shall we? Yeah. Do 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 do. Oh. I'd be curious as well. Has anyone out? No, it's a small pool of people. But has anyone out there ever not wanted to engage in fitness just because find the gym a bit intimidating? Because I mean, I can relate to that massively. I've been blessed to have this space for the longest time to be able to train. Those are one of the things as well, like you can achieve a damn good physique without ever setting foot in the gym, which I think is something that I want to communicate to the public as well, is that fitness is accessible, right? You do not need a gym to get fit. It helps by all means. I'm new to fitness and have trouble remembering what all the workouts are. I can never remember what a dumbbell tricep extension is, for instance. Gotcha. I honestly find the learn to the gym intimidating. Yeah, I think that's fair, particularly when you're new. It's not only a new space, which I think is intimidating for most people, but everything is new, right? What you're doing is new. You don't want to wind up looking stupid. As far as Criminal Maximus's issue goes, certainly with my stuff, because I do all the online programming and my in-person stuff as well is coordinated via the Workout Ways PT Hub. And what that has is literally it has your workouts. Let's see if I can get one up actually. It has all your workouts organized and it has all the schedules. Let me see if I can get one up to show you. Yeah, so here we go. Let's do full body beginner workout number 2. Right. So yeah, this is what a workout looks like on the Workout Ways PT Hub. So it has all the estimates, what you're meant to do, and you can fill in your lap counts and the weight that you are working with. The list is there for you. You've got details of the workouts that will be filled in if it's assigned to you. And every single exercise not only has the detailed video guide of how to perform it, it also has a text description as well, and most of them will have alternate exercises if that particular workout is too hard. So, you know, there's a lot of resources, particularly with what I do, focused on, you know, supporting of the client so that you can avoid those feelings. As I say, it's about stopping people feeling that way, because coming from the other side of it, I can tell people without any shred of confidence that the nervousness that you feel about pursuing fitness is incalculably small compared to the benefit that you can get from it. It's what's it like? It's like not wanting all the gold in Fort Knox because it might be too heavy. That's essentially what people are doing. That's a stupid analogy, but I kind of love it. You know what? That's good, actually. That's exactly what it is. Okay, let's warm up for our shoulder work, shall we? Oh. Yeah. Do you know that construction workers are stronger than bodybuilders? Most likely true. Bodybuilders generally train for a very particular type of hypertrophy. I can't remember the exact name. There's myofibrillar hypertrophy and I can't remember the other. Sarcoplasmic, that's the one. Sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. And in layman's terms, this is the difference between strength and size. Alright, so bodybuilders will train with high rep, short rest period modalities for the most part, which results in this one particular type of hypertrophy, either myofibrillar or sarcoplasmic, can't remember which. But basically they focus on size as opposed to strength. And particularly when it comes to bodybuilders on stage, I cannot express to you how close on-stage bodybuilders are to death. There is very little difference in terms of proximity to the waving, wafting curtain of death. There's very little difference between a professional on-stage bodybuilder and a starving child in South Africa. They are both equally proximal to death. Like, it is astounding what people do to their bodies at both extremes of fitness. And with bodybuilders in particular, it is astounding that some of them can even walk about at the levels of body fat and drugs that they have circulating in their system. The septum or muscular wall of the heart separates left and right divisions. Mostly water, 90 to 92%, and the rest is plasma proteins. This is plasma. Okay, so, ladies and gentlemen, we are doing overhead dumbbell press with 22.5, which is the highest I have ever gone, I think, which is quite nice. Oh, tell you what I'll do, chat, is I will drop in chat the link to the consult/explore plan on the Workout Ways PT Hub, where you guys can hop in, have a look. It's just basically a free plan that allows you to make an account and have a look about. So if you are curious, you can do that. You can access the instant chat on there as well. Send me a message, ask me any questions, have a look about, see how I do things. Or, why thank you, Johnny boy. I do my best. Oi. Okay, where's my fives? There we are. Yup. Shit. You guys got any pet peeves when it comes to fitness? I don't know how many of you are sort of involved in the fitness space enough to have sort of pet peeves. For me, it's people who lie about taking steroids. That really gets to me. Because that are legitimately, like, taking steroids doesn't mean you don't work hard. Doesn't mean you don't have a good work ethic. But you get people like Chris Hemsworth is the example I always use. And this is a guy with far more money than sense who is lying about being natural and selling programs that are based around, train and look like Thor, when what he doesn't specify is that he's blasting gear up his ass and he's misrepresenting what is naturally attainable to particularly young men. And not only is it damaging, but it's morally abhorrent. Like, you are lying to people, and that pisses me off. Gonna do my incline dips. Best of luck to you, Iron Eagle. Do enjoy. Greetings, how's it going? I will tell you in a moment after I do my set. Although, will I? Have I gone offline? Oh, no, I haven't. Have I? I don't. No, I'm still alive. Ha ha! Victory is mine. Okay, here we go, chat. Don't know how many we're gonna get here, we'll see. Ay, ay, ay. Whew. And Nonna, you are most kind, though I will have to correct you, just because 22.5 on the shoulder press is quite mediocre, if we're being honest. It's one of my poorer lifts. Don't know why, just can't seem to progress my shoulder work. Which is a shame, but if we're giving credit to ourselves, it is more than I could lift in 2020. Yeah! Describe the structure of an artery. Okay, so arteries are composed of 3 layers. Got a tunica intima, tunica media, and a tunica externa. The externa is composed of primarily epithelial squamous tissue. The middle layer is composed of elastic and smooth muscle, or elastic tissue and smooth muscle. The internal is squamous epithelial tissue. The outer is fibrous. Yeah. And the middle, being composed of elastic and smooth muscle, is correlated with its function, which is to produce vasodilation, vasoconstriction, widening and constricting the lumen of the vessel. Yeah. There's muscle tissue inside artery. There is indeed, yes. The tunica media, or the middle layer of an artery, has muscular tissue, which is why you get what's called vasoconstriction and vasodilation. So this is the ability of the circular or concentric tissues, the smooth muscle in the walls of the artery, to contract and what's the word? Diminish the circumference through which the blood travels, and this is one of the ways that our body regulates blood pressure, right? Because if it has a thinner vessel to pass through, it's under greater pressure. Fun fact, it's one of the issues when it comes to shock, as an example. When your body goes into shock, all of your arterioles, which are basically small vessels that branch out from your main arteries, they all vasodilate. So you get this huge drop in blood pressure, which can be fatal. What is the structure of red blood cells? So red blood cells are small bioconcave cells with no nucleus or other organelles. I had a guy on the corner, question and answer site, if you don't know. They were having a discussion. I think it was a religious motivated discussion about sort of denying evolution and this sort of thing. And one of the guys was saying something, I'm probably misrepresenting what exactly he said, I'm paraphrasing at best. He said something along the lines of, if God isn't real, then why does every cell have a nucleus? There's literally 2 divisions of cells. There's eukaryotes and prokaryotes. Do you know what a fun fact about prokaryotes is? They don't have a fucking nucleus. they're unicellular organisms. It's just like if you're gonna argue against evolution, like, can you at least know the most basic thing about what we know about cells? Like, I'm not an expert by any means. Like, I have a anatomy and physiology qualification and a personal training qualification, but I certainly wouldn't be qualified to argue the merits for and against scientific theory. Like, I just don't have the requisite knowledge. There you go. Okay, so red blood cells, they're produced in the bone marrow, lifespan of approximately 10 days. They transport oxygen down to hemoglobin, requiring iron and vitamin D, I believe. Okay, let's do another sip, chat. Ay. Whew. What are the muscle groups that are activated by doing incline tricep dips? So, I'm not familiar with the exact modality that you're referring to when you say inclined tricep dips, because this one's a bit of a weird one, because when you're talking about like a bench press, for example, an inclined bench would mean that your body's slanted upwards, right? Whereas a decline would mean your body's slanted downwards, and yet a decline push-up is the opposite. A decline push-up targets the upper chest, whereas a decline bench press targets the lower chest. So when you're talking about incline this or that, it's I'm always a bit nervous about deciding what exactly is going on. What I imagine you're talking about with an incline tricep dip is something along the lines of this. Right, so you're going down like this and working your triceps via this sort of modality. Is that accurate, or you were doing something else? Okay, I wasn't counting my reps again. God dang it. I am a silly individual. Now that's accurate? Okay, alright, so yeah, your triceps are the primary driver of that exercise. There is also involvement, as with most exercises, from your forearm musculature or extrinsic muscles of the hand, but for the most part, your triceps brachii will be heavily focused there. I would argue less so. Yeah, less so your lateral head of the tricep, just because, thinking about the biomechanics of it, less so your lateral head of the triceps, because the lateral head of the triceps brachii is actually the only head that inserts onto the shoulder girdle. Right, so it's the portion of the tricep that does this, essentially. That's the movement. This is the lateral head of the tricep that's assisting, along with the rotator cuff and the latissimus dorsi. Things like that are involved in this movement. The majority of the triceps musculature, so the medial and short head of the tricep, deal with extension of the forearm or the antebrachial region at the elbow. Right, so they attach onto the olecranon process right here, and when you get contraction here, it produces this movement. Right, so when you are doing a inclined tricep dip, as you call it, you can see the extension being produced at the elbow here, and that's primarily driven by the short and medial head of the tricep. And there is some minor involvement from the lower pectoral musculature as well, but less so than if you were to do the dip with a free body implement. So, for example, if I used my dip station over here, I can have a lot more choice in terms of where I put the emphasis of this movement. Because we know that our triceps primary function, or at least two of the heads of the tricep, have the primary function, although all of them do, the primary function of this extension, right? Whereas the lower fibers of the pectoralis major result in this motion, right? So it's pushing down that really activates the chest. So what we can do with a freestanding tricep or dip bench is we can choose where we want that emphasis. If I want it entirely on the chest, then I can push all the way through and finish with this nice big strong contraction where my body weight is going to be, supported by the lockout of the arm. Right, so I would go all the way through and I push all the way up to here, getting that nice contraction with a lean forward at the chest. Alright, so I'm going full extension at the top. If I wanted to work the triceps more, I don't need to go through that full extension. So I don't need to go all the way to here. In fact, it's better if I'm working triceps for me to not lock out the elbow. Right? Instead of going all the way here, where my weight is going to be supported by the structure of the bones in my arm, instead I want to take all of that weight on the action or the concentric action of my tricep. So instead of going all the way here, I go here and I don't push all the way through. So that looks like this. I also do a more upright body posture. So I go to here, and then down again. Here, and then down. If I was doing chest, I'd lean a bit further forward, go all the way through. So you have more options if you're doing a freestanding version of a tricep dip. Or we do our best, Vastagranta. Okay. Lateral raises. Yeah. Okay. 4.5. 4.5 kilos on the lateral raise. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Let's do it. Boopity bop. Bop. Why I'm reaching for the 5 kilo plates, those will not be helpful unless I fancy perishing, which I do not. Hey, being able to keep that incline on the lower side is very good. What, the... Oh, you mean at the bottom of the movement? Never really thought about the challenge of that, to be honest. I think I have a biomechanically advantageous form for that. I've got reasonably short arms, which assists, no doubt. Oh, my PT hub is telling me that I need to log my workout for the day. Thank you, PT hub. Wow. I sure am glad that I'm on the Workout Ways PT hub. It's so efficient and good. And you can sign up for free using the Consult and Explore plan. And you can explore all of the options and see the nutrition plans and such things and whatnot. Oh, can I pin it? Can I pin? This message is already pinned. Apparently I pinned the Workout Ways Consult Explore plan. But yeah, chat, go sign up to the hub and send me a message. It's a great way to start. And even if you don't sign on to a plan, I can give you free advice. Because I'm nice like that. You're going to play later today? Yes, I am going to play Lethal Company later today. So that should be enjoyable. Alright, 2.5, 3.5, 4, 4.5. Yeah. I love lateral raises. I think they're cool. But you gotta respect them. Don't just YOLO them out. Don't just think, oh, I can get higher mats on the lateral lat raises. Higher mats are good. No, they're not. Quality mats are good. Let's go, boys. Oh. Yeah, cool. I'll take that. Nice. Okay. Maybe a bit stupid question. How long can you hold your breath? I can do about 90 seconds in the morning when I wake up. Probably about 30 seconds or less. Like, my lung capacity is tragic. I mean, it is a factor as well that I have more musculature because, as I say, muscle is a far more anabolically demanding tissue than other tissues in the body. So as a result, I probably argue that people with more muscle generally can hold their breath for a shorter period of time. don't know if that's the case, but it would seem logical. But yeah, my estimate would be 30 seconds or less. If I ever go off a bridge in a car, I am royally screwed. Right, chat. We are about to do T-bar rows with 60 gosh darn honest to goodness kilos. Yeah. Okay, so, plus side, we've got to the point in our back work after our injury where we have to use the big boy weights because the little ones won't fit anymore. Ain't that swell? Ooh. Gotta have the muscles to break out the car. Well, you can just take the headrest out. Use the spike at the base of the window. Right. Landline attachment, chap. Huzzah! Let's set up and see if we can get it to a point where it's not going to fly out. Alright, una más. Nice. Cool, got that. Here's the big boy weights, chat. Ooh. One. Two. Right. Chat. Let's position you well. This is going to be, I believe, the heaviest T-bar row we have ever done. So that's cool. Where is my handle? Come on now, where are you? You can't hide. Alright. Cool. Alright, up to 50. do some quizzes. What things are needed for a blood clot to form? Prothrombin, calcium, thrombin, thromboplastin, vitamin K. Nice. What's the function of the fibrous pericardium? So it protects the heart and anchors it to surrounding tissue. What is blood pressure a measure of? The pressure exerted against the walls of the ventricle upon contraction. What is plasma composed of? So 90 to 92% of water. Contains plasma proteins such as globulin, albumin, prothrombin, fibrinogen. I did not know that is a movement. My acknowledgement is that knowing is how you do that. I'm not sure what you mean, Investigator. Can you reformulate that sentence or question? It's a tad confusing. Let's go. Up to 60. Beautiful. Smaller versions of arterioles, similar structure but more muscle, less elastic tissue. Arterioles. How is the heart divided internally? I put concept 2 knowing machine in the same line with that movement. Well, I mean, you're not wrong. Right? A knowing movement essentially just means a pulling provided by, I guess, a combination of latissimus dorsi, biceps brachii, brachialis is involved. You've got the posteriorly located rotator cuff musculature, trapezius, at least the lower and transverse fibers will be involved as well. So there's similar motions involved in here. This is primarily an exercise, or at least the modality in which I'm performing it, is focused on hypertrophy, so knowing the size and a little bit of the strength of the latissimus dorsi. The biceps brachii in this one will be a secondary focus, so doing heavy, decently heavy row type movements will grow your brachialis and biceps brachii as well. We'll be doing some isolation bicep work in a moment. But yeah, this is a knowing movement. This is a knowing movement. Doesn't matter which way you're doing it. Right? Doesn't matter if you're doing it with a dumbbell. They are all knowing movements. The difference is with a knowing machine, they are primarily built for endurance or cardio-focused purposes. So particularly with a knower, it's not that it's a fundamentally different movement or working different musculature. It's just that the purpose of, the resistance that can be provided by a rowing machine, you're never going to get a rowing machine that requires a 60 kilo pull. Right? As far as I know, that's just not a thing. They might go up to, I don't even know what a reasonable sort of professional rowing machine, what's the max resistance you get on like a commercial rowing machine? Anyone know? What's the number 10? What are you pulling? I doubt it's 60 kilos is my point. So even on number 10, my estimate would be like maybe 20 kilos, 20, 30, somewhere around there. And that's much more for, most experienced people. That's going to be endurance training. So that's going to be sort of 20 plus repetitions, which past sort of 20 reps, you're really seeing diminishing returns very, very quickly for myofibrillar and sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, which is your strength and your mass or your size of musculature, and you're just training endurance, your body's ability to clear and mitigate the effects of lactic acid buildup as they put more demand on the anaerobic and transfer into the aerobic system. So yeah, it's just a different purpose, but it's the same movement. I have no idea, it's not 60 kilos. You would assume, right? I mean, I have ungodly respect for rowers because they are insane athletes, but I don't know how I'd feel if they were pulling 60 kilos for like 5 kilometers. That would be damaging to my psyche, I think. Right. See what we can do. So as I say, this is the heaviest T-bar row we've done. What's your endurance thing to do? Bicycle, rowing, running. So it's running currently. I say running, more like jogging. But yeah, I'm working on heart rate training at the moment, which has been very helpful for sort of developing my understanding of cardio-focused training, because it's very, very different from sort of an anaerobic training focus. So strength training is almost exclusively anaerobic work, with the exception of sort of endurance focused or high rep focused workouts. When you are picking up heavy weight and you're lifting it with moderate explosivity, you are relying on your anaerobic system in order to do that. Or primarily, you're always relying on both muscle systems, both energy systems. It's just depending on the action and primarily the length of the action. One system is predominant over the other. So what I would do, and this was a mistake of mine I made for years and years and years, is I would treat running or sort of aerobic activity the same as I would treat sort of my anaerobic work. And pushing really hard with anaerobic work, pushing that set to failure, and then you get that nice time, that recovery, is very effective. Going 1 to 2 reps shy of failure on your anaerobic strength or resistance training work is very effective. That is not the same for aerobic or cardiovascular focused work. What I would do is I would treat every run as if I wanted to go 1 to 2 reps shy of failure. And then I'd just burn out. I would just lose progress and I'd never get anywhere. And what it took me doing is I not only had to sort of take my foot off the gas, but I also had to reinterpret where my heart rate zones were. So I use heart rate training in all of my programming now, and it's the modality that I'm making massive gains in terms of my distance running and my aerobic capacity. What I had to do is realize that, okay, yeah, I want my 30k, my sort of running at 10 kilometers per hour to be my zone 3 aerobic pace, right? I can maintain for a long time. It's not. It's about 8, right? It's about 8 kilometers per hour, so that's like a 40-minute 5k, something like that is my sort of aerobic pace currently. I wish it was higher. I put in the work hours that, if you want to look at it from a sort of don't deserve anything in fitness, I deserve it to be higher, but it's not. I've had to sort of reanalyze and realign where I stand. So what I do currently, if anyone's curious about my sort of anaerobic training, is the vast majority of my training is in zone 1 and zone 2. So I am implementing a pyramidal heart rate zone training structure. So every day, as I cook my chicken steaks in the night, I will do a half an hour cardio session in either zone 1 or zone 2. Zone 1 is basically just walking. It's literally just walking back and forth. That's your zone 1 cardio. You're up and you're active, but you can have a conversation completely normal, with no problem whatsoever. Zone 2, for me, is a bit more active. It's an incline of 8 and a speed of 5.8 kilometers per hour. So it's walking up a hill at a decently fast pace. That's my zone 2. Once per week, or potentially twice per week, depending on how I'm feeling, I will go to a distance run at my zone 3 aerobic pace. So that will be, for me, about 8 kilometers per hour, or 40-minute 5k time. And I will run that for, at the moment I'm doing, the last one of that was 25 minutes, which is already longer than I could do a while back. Also once per week, but at the opposite ends of, actually no, not once per week. Oh yeah, I forgot the exact nuance of it. So I will do 2 zone 3 runs per week, unless bi-weekly one of those zone 3 runs will be zone 4, and then the next bi-weekly zone 4 session will be zone 5. So as an example, tomorrow I think I'm doing a zone 3 run, and that's an endurance run, so that'll be about half an hour at zone 3 pace, so 40-minute 5k. And then in the evening it will be a zone 1 cardio. Tomorrow, or the day after that, I believe I'm strength training again, so it'll be zone 2 cardio in the evening. And then my next cardio is what, zone 3, but it's with a break in the middle. Then we do a zone 1, then a zone 2, and then it's our zone 4 training. So that'll be sort of 8 minutes at zone 4, then 5 minutes, then 3 minutes, then 2 minutes, and that's it. And then, like a week or so later, we do zone 5, which is all-out sprints for about 400 meters. And those are really challenging, but really important to get your VO2 max up. So, yeah, I'm really happy with the progress that I'm making with my cardiovascular work at the moment. It's really good. Yeah, no worries, Master Hunter. Like, there's no shame in being where you are. The only shame is lying about it. Because even if you lie to other people, you're really only lying to yourself. I am not a runner by any means. I am absolutely shite at it. But I'm better than I was, and I'm analysing why I'm bad to learn how to be better. And how to help other people with their mental state issues. Yeah, the wonderful thing I think about heart rate training is that it's independent of modality, almost. Right? So if I say to you, and this is with my training on certainly my online training on the Workout Waves PT Hub, is if I say to you, okay, today I want you doing half an hour zone 1, you can do that almost in any way. It's limited because it's zone 1, but for some people, zone 1 will be sitting down doing this. Right? This could well be zone 1 for people if they're inexperienced with training. Right? This is a valid modality to do zone 1 cardio. Doesn't matter where you are, doesn't matter how you want to do it. Zone 2 cardio could be standing up, walking back and forth for half an hour. That might be your zone 2. Zone 3 might be a bit faster, you could do it, but you could do zone 3 via swimming gently. Right? So it's a lot more flexible than me just like run for 400 meters or something like that. And it's the same reason why I never program weights for pre-built plans. Because it's like with bodyweight training. If I say to someone, okay, do 10 push-ups, for some people, that's going to be really easy. It's not going to provide the belly any stimulus whatsoever. For other people, that will be impossibly hard. Right? So for resistance training in particular, I never program preset weights. I say, okay, find whatever it is that leaves you with about 3 reps in the tank, or about 2 reps left. Right? Whatever weight that is, that's what we're working with, that's where we're going to start, and that's where we're going to move forward from. So, I think it's an important thing to bear in mind, particularly with my training, or the way I approach it, is it starts from where you are. Right, what are we doing? 55? Damn! Could you tell or show 3 movements you recommend for your upper body? What are the limitations, Master Hunter? Because, upper body, there's a lot that you can do. It depends, are we doing weight work? Are we doing, is it body weight exclusive? There's a lot that you can do Let's see. 40 kilos. Let's get a warm-up setting. Yeah, that's the answer. What are your limitations, fun fellow? Is it just any movement, or do you want specifically bodyweight stuff or stuff that you can do at home? For a beginner who likes to know, simple stuff that you can do with not so much equipment. Okay, so I mean, you've got your standard push-ups are incredibly versatile to the point where you can literally make them easier just by bending your knees. So push-ups are basically a bench press but against the floor. So very simple, and if you want to make them easier to get your neck range in like that 12 to 20, then you can do them on your knees, which makes the exercise considerably easier. And of course you can upgrade your variations, so you can do a closed leg press up for more emphasis on your triceps. You can do a pike push up for more emphasis on your deltoids or shoulders. For example, you could do a Cobra push up again for your triceps. So there's a huge amount of versatility that you can do in a push-up. You can do, it's another good example, you can do a wide plank push-up for more emphasis on your chest. Alright? Again, most of those you can do like easier or harder by going from your knees. I hate the floor, so I want to push myself as far as possible. That's fair. As you said, you like rowing movements. There's actually, if you get quite inventive, there's a considerable amount of places around the house that will allow you to do body weight, row kind of movements. I'm not going to do it there, because that seems very unwise. But as an example, you could do simple rows like this, depending on your difficulty or depending on your experience level. Right, you can do all the way down to inverted rows, which are phenomenal exercise, and you can do this with something as simple as a stick. Right? Put a stick between two chairs. So that can be effective as well. You've got to think about musculature as well. So we're talking upper body, which means we want to work our shoulders. So you can pick up just about any reasonably heavy object. Maybe I've got a weird weight around here that I can do lat raises with. Alright? And what I can do is I can lean into it just to get more stimulus at the top. And you can do that as long as you do it steady and controlled. You get nice impact on your deltoid. You can also do, you could do reverse tricep extensions. So you could bend down like this. Extend your triceps up behind you, like this. It's more an endurance modality with the kind of weight that I'm using. But if you wanted to turn that into a exercise for your rotator cuff, you can do that as well by moving your entire arm. So all the way out behind. Just wouldn't work. You're posteriorly locating rotator cuff musculature. Like that. And you can also do it slightly wider. For again, rotator cuff and rhomboid and trap involvement. So there's a huge amount that you can do very simply with just a basic object. Pick up just about anything and move it. There's really good options. Like shoulder movement is for me, and the triceps movement is a good one for sure. Do remember as well, all the tricep is responsible for is just extending the elbow and a bit of extension at the shoulder joint as well. But you can do it as simple as come here and just do a tricep dip. Now obviously all of these are easier to progressively overload in the gym. Right? Easier to track the weights that you're doing and the progress that you're making, but there's no reason that you have to do it in the gym. And not being able to get in the gym is not an excuse for not pursuing fitness. Right. I have 8 kilo dumbbells. I tried out the motivation to do those. Go for it, Pastor Hunter. But one thing that I would recommend, actually, no, I wouldn't recommend, do this. Track what you are doing. Write down what you did and when. And write it somewhere permanent where you can look back at it. My PC Hub is great for that, but obviously it is a paid thing if you're on the programs. But, as I'm going to say, write it down and keep track of it. Because one fantastic thing to do is to look back as to where you've come. It's a great source of that motivation you're looking for, which, I always say comes after you take action. And looking back at what you've achieved is a fantastic way of achieving that motivation. Okay, right, chat. See what we can do. That's good. Bless my shoulders. Whee! How are you, chap? Rockabye Steve on the lat pull down. Can he do 12? Probably not. Okay. Okay, cool. worries at all, that's the matter. I would recommend you hop on the PT Hub, because then you can use the instant messaging feature, and that connects you directly to me. So if you end up with any questions, you can toss me a message, and I tend to respond sort of within a couple of minutes, assuming I'm not indisposed. But yeah, hop on using the tiny link if you would like. You can use that account to access the resources that I have. Ooh. You're responding to DMs in a minute will be a miracle. Well, in fairness, I said when I'm not indisposed. Right then. Chat. It is time for my favorite exercise. Do you know what my favorite exercise is, chat? Oh yeah. Pornhub is not an exercise. Bicep curls, you're mostly right. My favorite exercise is reverse cable curls. Fantastic isolation exercise. Or your brachialis, which, believe it or not, your brachialis is the most powerful flexor of the forearm. What does that mean? Well, it means that when people associate this movement with the biceps brachii, they're doing a disservice to the larger brachialis, which lies beneath the biceps brachii and gives it that structure. Right? The brachialis is actually more powerful, but the difference being that the biceps brachii passes the shoulder and the elbow joint, meaning it can produce both this movement and this movement, whereas the brachialis can only produce this movement. So yeah, right, chat, let's warm up. And we're warming up with 15 kilos, which is quite a milestone, because this used to be my working weight. And remember, our brachialis and biceps brachii are heavily involved when we are doing row type movements. So our back work that we've just done, right? So we're essentially working pretty fatigued musculature, so we don't need an awful lot of volume here. So we can do one set and we can take it to failure. So let's do that, shall we? Down that forearm, you're probably admiring the brachioradialis, fine fellow. Which, believe it or not, even though it's more visible aesthetically on the anterior portion of the forearm, you can see this curvature right here. This is the brachialis. It's actually a muscle of the posterior forearm. And the reason for that is because it's innervated by the radial nerve, as are the other posterior forearm muscles. No, that's not right. 17.5. Yeah. But yeah, fun fact, chat, the brachioradialis is also known as the drinking muscle because it produces this motion. Alright? Which is why when you're looking at working your brachialis or biceps brachii, you take a supinated, or palms facing up, away from your body, grip. So, for example, when I'm doing this exercise, my grip will be supinated, right? Because I'm working the brachialis and biceps brachii. I'm working on this elbow flexion. Whereas, if I wanted to focus on enhancing the brachioradialis, right here, the drinking muscle, I would do something like hammer curls, right? Which take a more neutral grip and place the brachioradialis in a more mechanically advantageous position to be contributing to the movement. Fun! Yay! Water! liquid. Yeah. Alright, come on, give me a good song. What you got? What the heck is this? I recognize it. Oh my word, it's Holding Out for a Hero from Shrek. Okay. I need a hero indeed. Right. Well then, chat. That is it for me. Hello, Nono. Or Nuno. Good to see you, fine fellow. Is that a good song for training? Dang it, I can't click on anything. Well, chat, it's been an absolute pleasure. I will be back in about half an hour. About 30 minutes to play some Lethal Company. So if you do want to join me for that, you would be oh so very welcome. Are you British? I am indeed, fine fellow. I am indeed. So, let's see, what's the schedule? So, as I say, back in half an hour. I believe I'm doing cardio tomorrow, so we'll be streaming that. Next workout stream will be, Monday, I believe. So, That'll be enjoyable. The accent? Yes, indeed. I mean, it's half accent, half speech impediment. It's one or the other. Well, thank you, Nuno. That's most kind of you. Appreciate that very much. Another shout out, lads, to workoutways.co.uk. I am a qualified PT, providing online and in-person sessions and programs based around fitness and health. So, if you are interested in learning more, you can go to the workoutways.co.uk website. I built that myself and I'm pretty proud of how it's come together. And if you are interested in looking into what I do and learning a bit about it, you can also use the funny program on the Workout Ways PT Hub. That is a program that gives you free access to almost everything on the hub. So you can see the workouts, what they look like, the nutrition, the check-ins, everything like that. Explore how it works and see if you want to get involved in finding whatever fitness means to you. So, thank you very much, everyone. I will be back in half an hour, as I say, with some lethal company. Until then, farewell. Bye bye bye.